and your career. And again, everyone's been stressing on their point because first years are usually very scared of what branches they've already gotten, and maybe they might just be confined to it. But that is not the case at all, looking at it from a campus point of view or a placement point of view. Also, when you're exploring new things, when you're exploring new opportunities, new areas, there are a lot of fields, a huge number of fields, a huge number of areas where you can pursue your career in. So don't just get bothered by, or don't just get decided on, let's say, IT placements or maybe some other specific area, because there have been so many upcoming fields. I'm sure everyone would have heard about artificial intelligence, machine learning. These are words that have become so common. And again, since these technologies have been rapidly coming up, so is the market for all the jobs and all the profiles for these. So develop your skills, don't focus on placements. If you develop your skills, you're bound to get placed into a very good and a brilliant firm. But for that you need to have skills, not just a mindset that I have to get placed.
Yeah, so
so continuing with what she has already mentioned, so yes, CG is CG the most important thing? Probably not, but it matters a lot to a certain extent when it comes to your placements and all. So if you are below a certain threshold, then you will severely restrict the kind of opportunities that you might get, because several companies will have their own CGPA criteria, and it's up to you to match up to that at least, and beyond that, if you want to go, it's up to you. So most of these companies will have some or the other criteria, so you should take care that you don't restrict yourself. And it's not like placements will be very bad for people who are not able to manage a very good CG, but you will have to kind of adjust your expectations at the end. So you should emphasize, and you should probably work towards getting at least a decent CGPA. If you have other priorities, then don't pursue those priorities at the expense of your academics. Apart from that, from a higher education application point of view, again, it will be very important. Most of the top schools so in the US there is a 4-point grading scale, so the CGPA is out of 4. And most of the top ratings, most of the top schools will prefer candidates who have a 3.7 plus. So if you translate that, approximately it will come out to something like a 9.25. So that you should have in mind if you have a long-term goal like that. Also, CGPA is the crucial deciding factor for your practice school, and the practice school sometimes translates into your career, your job, your pre-placement offer. So that is again one aspect for which you should take care about your CGPA.
Thank you. Yeah, just to add to what Sachin and Sanya told, CGPA is very important from multiple aspects like practice school placement and placement for a job and going for higher studies abroad. But at the same time, what happens is these are all the criteria which is important to get an immediate benefit once you go out of BITS-Pilani. And there were also questions which are asked about the branch of study. But instead of just looking immediate future after 4 or 5 years of study at BITS, what is going to be a long run, maybe after 10 years of graduation, 15 years, there is going to be a very rapid change in the working environment, because when in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, when 50, 60 alumni have come, and I asked how many of them are working in their core domain. Out of 50, 60, hardly 2 of them are there, and the remaining people were all into other domain where they have been doing extremely well. While branches are important as far as this studies are concerned, but still, whatever the branch you are, there are ample opportunities available, and academic rigor and the CGPA, the merit will be one of the important criteria as far as the life at BITS is concerned. Anupam, would you like to add something?
So, like I think a lot has been talked about GPA, okay, and what does the different GPA mean? I will tell you not what is the different GPA means, but I will tell you how can you actually get to that level. This is a very simple rule. If you are going to attend all the classes, or say 90% of the classes, and I am very sure all of you will be attending all the tutorials where the quizzes happen, then you will be near around that decent GPA, okay. So that is the basic mantra to it. But now if you have some plans that okay, you want to land up into a say grad school or something, then you need to push a little bit harder. That's how you can get to the decent GPA. And regarding the courses, like how does these courses that you do at BITS help you in long run? So the first 1.5 year, all the courses which all of you do are mostly common. These courses will provide you the basic fundamental basic platform to actually migrate into or explore various other disciplines. For example, I did something related to fuzzy logic in my 1-2, and that is something that is something opened me to the field of machine learning and AI. And if say I would not have done that course, then that aspect or maybe this field of AI would have remained unknown to me for another 1 year or so at BITS. So do your fundamental or the first 1.5 year courses diligently. These are going to help you in long run, wherever you are, in whichever job you are, whether you will be in a job or whether you are going for higher studies or R&D, whatever. These fundamental courses for first 3 semesters pay your attention to all the things which are taught in the class, and I think it will help you in long run and also achieve the decent GPA.
Thank you. I think I have addressed many of the issues related to academic life at BITS. Now again I give you an opportunity to the audience if they wish to ask some questions related to this. The floor is open for the discussion, and then we'll come back to the other avenues as well as we have discussed. Anybody having any question at this point in time? Yeah. So those who ask questions, can you please appear here.
Hey everyone, my branch is MSc Physics, and actually everyone who's a dualite is very much concerned about their CGPA because we get to choose our branch from that. But then we also have an opportunity to explore the campus by joining clubs, departments and tech teams. So how many tech teams should we join? Like my main motto to come here to this campus was for the exposure it gives. So I wanted to explore the things, I wanted to get into the tech teams, I wanted to manage the fest, I wanted to join clubs. So should we join the club? How many clubs should we join? Should we join a tech team? How much time efficient it is to join those tech teams or the clubs or departments?
Actually, this is coming in the subsequent questions and it will be automatically answered. Okay. Anything related to academics, if you have some questions, you can ask.
Okay, no, thank you.
Is there any question?
People on the left side, do you have any questions? This side.
Hello, my name is Riyansh, and my question is that right now we have come from an environment where we used to sit in a class and we were given a concept and 5 problems, and then we used to do that concept brainlessly all over the day. So how do we transform that from that kind of mindset to a mindset where we can creatively think about new things and try out the SOPs and LOPs as we have been told?
Yeah, so let me answer. So in the first year you will be exposed to all the basic courses, okay? That will provide you some sort of a fundamental understanding. And the opportunity to explore the SOPs and LOPs will come in second year. So by that time you will be primed enough to actually explore any of your ideas through a SOP or not. Does that answer?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
And again, like, if people are concerned about how you are going to do multiple things, make sure if you are attending the classes, most of the things will be taken care. You will always you will always be more than the median or the average level if you are attending most of the classes.
And just one more thing that you should not, you should just give yourself some time. These things tend to happen automatically. If you are sincere, if you are looking out for those opportunities, if you speak to different people who, if you see someone operating in the direction that you want to go to, speak to them, talk to them, and look for guidance, talk to professors. There are many people. So gradually that change will happen. It's not something that you can do with a push of a button. So keep that in your mind. Sit on that thought a while and talk to people and explore. It will happen over time.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Hello there, I'm Ahan Shah and I'm from mechanical engineering. I actually want to pursue a master's abroad. So what is the procedure that we need to do over here, the CGPA required, and what is the help that the college offers us?
Yeah, so see, it's good that you are interested in master's. So first thing, I think a GPA, whatever decent GPA people call it here, if you are say 20% above that, then it will increase the chances of like landing a very good grad school. And the other thing is like if you can talk about some of the research that you do here or in your SOP, in your essay, then that will actually make a very strong point for you. And other than that, you can start looking for which are the grad schools that you are looking at and see which are the professors with whom you want to do your master's research project. So accordingly then you can start taking those electives which are related to the field of research of that professor. And still if you have any doubts you can reach out to any of us.
So adding on to answer your question actually, do reach out to your seniors in mechanical engineering because they've already gone through the process. So they have an idea of which graduate schools are better, which departments in which universities are good. Also, there are different aspects to applying to grad school. There are going to be different subsections in mechanical engineering that you want to focus in. So give yourself time to find your niche, find what you're good at. And also answering a previous question, you can probably do an SOP or an LOP where you answer a research question. There's a research project that you can be involved with, and if you get a publication or find some credible results and you pick up a few really important research skills such as programming or modeling and so on. So that's going to help you in your graduate school application. And the most important thing is your grade point, because almost all of the students who've gone to great graduate schools, they do really filter out based on your CGPA. I've known students in computer science with a 9.4 who didn't get into graduate school also. Not graduate school, but to the top universities. So yeah, I mean, you've got to not just get a good CGPA, but also build your profile in such a way that the professors in those graduate schools want to work with you.
Yeah, just to add to that, there were discussion about academic plus. I'll come to flexibility. I'll finish this. So one of the opportunities, in fact, he asked about opportunity being provided by BITS to facilitate this process. Some of my thought on this line, the practice school Sanya has told, there are many organizations hosting practice school one in the research labs, like the adjacent BITS-Pilani, IGCAR, IIRS. So many research labs are hosting the students and for the PS1 program, and many of the projects done by the students are leading to the publication. So if you try building your resume towards that research interest, this will be one of the excellent opportunity. And also one of the semesters the students can go abroad and then complete their off-campus thesis. We do have a lot of tie-up with the foreign universities, so if you would like to explore those options, many such a university would like to welcome you for a semester and then do the research project there. And two of my students who went to Purdue University to do their thesis were asked to continue for their PhD program in the same university. They are doing extremely well. I'm sure that BITS provide enough of opportunity to explore these avenues. Yeah, next question please.
Hi all, I am Abhay from, I'm pursuing ME in software system. So I just want to know that if the degree enables us to pursue for higher education for the PhD and from other institutes also apart from the BITS-Pilani.
Can you rephrase the question?
Yeah, I'm doing ME in software system.
Uh-huh.
I just want to know that if the degree enables us for pursuing higher PhD and all from other institutes apart from the BITS-Pilani.
So see, you're already going to do your master's here, okay? And in master's, you will be focusing on some of the advanced courses. You can build on those courses, and over the top of it, start at least interacting with some of the professors in computer science or electrical engineering, and see if you can contribute to some of their ongoing research. In that way, actually, you will be able to get one or the other publication, and yeah, you should actually look abroad as well as in IITs or ISC if you want to do a PhD in India. And even in India nowadays, they are like after this Prime Minister Research Fellowship has come up, it provides a very good funding for 4.5 years. So yeah, better look at universities in abroad if you want to go outside India, but still in India there are a lot of opportunities.
Yeah. Shall we move on? Is there any more questions, please? We take two more questions and then we need to go for the next domain.
I'm Archit from our mechanical engineering branch. So, like, I got the branch which I wanted. I want to do mechanical engineering. But the projects I take up in the next year might be involving electrical or computer science also. So if I take up electives or like take up projects which include these, and if it does affect my GPA, so do I like, which one do I put more focus on?
So, see, if you are interested in doing something, and if your interest actually helps you to actually learn that thing, absorb that thing easily, then better go and pursue that, because that would actually come out on your CV that this guy, though from a mechanical engineering branch, took sort of a challenge for himself and tried handling something else. I remember, I can relate it to one of my own experiences. So when I was interviewed by like the first company where I went to work, so the interviewer was the head of one of the electrical related labs of DRDO, and he actually, instead of other people who were from the mechanical or the design background, he interviewed me because they thought that okay, this guy has already done mechanical engineering, so we need not ask him, but let's test him on something which he has related, which he has done related to the AI, and he dipped me a bit in that area, and he realized that okay, my understanding was okay. So in that way, you can actually distinguish yourself by doing something which is may not be directly related to your own branch. So don't be afraid of taking such maneuvers. Please go ahead and do that. It will only help you distinguish yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So academics is one part of life and BITS, but definitely that's not the only part. So in fact, most of the students at the time of graduation, they cherish their memories because the time they spent in the clubs, departments, and also probably in taking part in the cultural events. So that makes the complete enjoyment of life at BITS. So now we shall try to focus on the other aspects of life at BITS. Again, I have a few questions to the panelists. Tell us about your involvement in extracurricular activities in the clubs and the departments during your stay on campus. How would you advise the freshers to strike a balance between their academics and extracurricular activities? Sahil, would you like to start?
So, hi. So I
been in the Department of Controls, and initially I was also in the dance club and the badminton team, and now I'm in the finance committee for the PU. So because of all these commitments, it gets very overwhelming, and as some person also asked, that I want to do all these things in college. I want to explore all the tech teams because there are so many interest groups. So how do I strike a balance with it? Initially you will have problems. So whenever you commit, you should know that I will be able to give time to it. Make an informed decision. Just don't join a club or a department because you're interested in it. Know fully how much commitment it requires, how many hours you'll have to put in, and if you will be able to do that. Suppose say you get some commitments, X number of commitments, list them down and then prioritize what is important and what is not. And here academics is also one of your priority. Just because you have to do academics on your own and in departments and clubs you are accountable to other people does not mean that you will not take academics seriously. So accountability is another factor that plays a very important role. Being accountable to yourself first and then others. Because academic and GPA is yours. So it's not part of any club or department. GPA is your own identity. So be accountable to yourself first and then the others. So I think academics should be your first priority, and then you can manage all your departments. It's not that hard. You can go to classes, come back, revise what you've done, do your extracurricular at night, and then maybe just sleep. If you keep going to classes and study before the exams, do your evaluation components rightly, then I think it's not that hard to get a good CGPA or the transcript of reference, or in fact strike a balance of in the both sectors.
Yeah, Sanya, would you like to add?
I will be stressing again on the fact that Sahili just mentioned that it is very, very, very important to strike a balance between your extracurriculars and your academics. Although you would have realized by now that there are multiple organizations, multiple departments, clubs, associations, societies, all of these things that are there on campus. So just choose the ones that actually interest you, because initially what we do is I want to explore everything that is on campus, and then we take up so many things that we're not able to balance either the activities or our academics. So take up things that actually interest you, take up things that you think might be helpful for you, and strike balance again. Though I think the most apt line here is the key to everyone aspires to be an all-rounder in BITS. I think that's the main focus, the main objective of everyone coming to BITS. So the key to being an all-rounder in BITS-Pilani is managing your time. If you do that, you can do amazingly well in your academics, you can do amazingly well in all your extracurriculars, your co-curriculars, everything.
Yeah, anybody else would like to add?
So answering this from a slightly different perspective, one point they have very well conveyed that your extracurricular should not be at the expense of your academics. You have to maintain your academics as well. And also that you should be genuinely interested in what you're pursuing. So if you are having 5-6 responsibilities, then probably you won't fare well in either of them. Apart from that, I have seen people approach me and talk to me about feeling the fear of being left out if they don't join any club or department, or they have the fear that their college life won't be as fulfilling when it comes to like not being in any club or department. So that is also not true. Do not pressure yourself. Do not be pressured by anybody else to get into a club or department. You can still be very active. You can still pursue your hobbies on your own, and it's not something that that is a one-size-fits-all kind of situation. So be honest to yourself. If you can manage your time well, if you can commit to your responsibilities, then yes, by all means go ahead, explore as much as you want. But also keep in mind that you should not push yourself if you don't have genuine interest in any of the opportunities or responsibilities that you take on.
Yeah.
So the point is to be honest with yourself. Like, you need to know how much you can have on your plate. Like, you shouldn't be adding so much more pressure onto yourself than you can handle. Like, you should be honest with yourself and not your auntie next door. See, in my case, I was in one club and one department in the beginning of my first year. and I wanted to join music club, and I joined in my 2-2, which is last semester. After that, I left the other club which I joined in my first sem because I know I wouldn't be able to manage so many things at the same time and still get a good CGPA. So you should know what you can handle and your priorities too.
Thank you. Good. Anupam.
Just adding a point to what Rajat said, you might think in the next 1 or 2 months that if you do not join a department or if you do not join an organization, you will not have a social circle and a lot of other things. But don't get misguided by all of these things, because if you work hard in whatever you are working for, be it academics, be it extracurriculars, be it both, as long as you're working well, you will surely do wonders in whatever you do. Also, one more point is when you're choosing your clubs, when you're choosing your departments, I'm stressing this again and again, but you should actually keep in mind how much time you can devote to it. I think everyone is stressing on this point because it's very important. You can take up 4 things, 5 things, as long as you are true to them, as long as you are dedicated to them, as long as you work for it. Don't just take up things and leave them in the middle of nowhere.
So I am sort of an outlier on this table. I was not part of any club, any department, but in my 3rd year I was sort of elected by my own seniors to lead the apogee. So apogee is the technical fest of it, and I learned a lot while being the event organizer, and learned a lot of things from my own peers in terms of how to lead people, how to form teams, and being a mechanical engineering student, I had my interest in being a part of electrical engineering association, which I could never because I was not a AAA student. So in my final year when I was placed, I had ample time, and fortunately I also got some funding from one of the projects. So I started IEEE BITS-Pilani chapter, and I think that chapter is still staying. And so in that way, it also gives you an opportunity that if you want to create something on your own, you can do that. It's not that the first year if you don't do, then everything is lost. It can even happen in the final year. And I did most of these things in my 3rd and 4th year.
Yeah. Just to add to these points, one of the parameters in which the BITSians stand probably at the top is the overall personality development. So the clubs and the departments are the avenues through which anybody can mold their soft skill, team building, time management in addition to their academics. These are all the aspects which is going to help in the future career. So as everybody in the panel has suggested, you should judicially utilize the time available to you in such a way that you will be able to focus on these aspects without much compromising on academics. That is very, very important. Next question is, why do students sometimes choose academia, even though there are a lot of prospects and a high-paying job, given that you see the friends joining companies and getting paid handsome salaries and have a much secure career? What do you think motivates a student to join academia? I will ask this question to Ajay.
So, actually, when people get their first on-campus jobs, I don't think it's like a permanent job that they're going to stick to for the rest of their lives. So they're going to have to keep updating themselves, and they'll probably go out pursue an MBA or do a master's later on. So most people would probably go into academia because they feel that they can contribute more effectively that way by doing research, and also it's an ill-conceived notion that research is detached from the corporate world. A lot of research is actually funded by corporates to better understand how their products are going to fare and how it's going to affect the environment or how it will reach the customers. So being a researcher, you're not going to be detached from the corporate world. It's more of having a broader outlook where you can choose your own projects or pass on what you've learned, in the sense teach to other students and hire graduate students to do your research for you also. So,
Yeah. Anupam, would you like to add something?
So basically there are two things. Like if you land up in a corporate job or an academic position, one may seem to be more fulfilling in terms of the money, whereas the other may seem fulfilling in terms of two aspects. One is the pursuit of knowledge, and other is most of the academic positions will keep you afloat and help you lead a very comfortable life. And if you really do well in academia, then your chances of reaching a place where you can be an example to others are higher as compared to you being in a corporate job. It's very simple, because only 2 to 5% of people will end up in academia, whereas the rest of the people will go to the corporate world. If you want to make a point and you want to be an inspiration for people who are going to come in the coming generations, then probably academia gives you a better platform. And the other thing is, which I alluded to, is like pursuit of knowledge. In corporate world, you will also learn things, but these will be things which are routine and mundane type of things. And if you are a person who is very curious, who is very explorative and wants to do something new, then better settle for an academic position, because even with a slightly lower compensation, you will feel far more satisfied. And again, from academia, you can go back to a corporate career once again. But from corporate to academia, it's a difficult path to go. So maybe some of you who want to experiment, maybe can try out academia immediately after your undergrad. And if you don't feel satisfied, you can come back again.
Thank you. I also would like to add probably the situation where when I graduated in mechanical engineering sometime in 1988, there were so many job offers available at that time in an industry. And of course, the panelists already told the positive aspects of corporate life, where you have enough of money and power, maybe the responsibility. These things are one of the criteria of a successful life, but much more than that, the job satisfaction is very, very important. When I go to a class and then teach my students and the bright faces, they have understood what I have taught, the pleasure and the satisfaction which I receive probably cannot be expressed in words. So once you get into this, you also probably serve the society, because we are educating the people who are ultimately going to serve the society. So the option is yours, which one you want to see. And then if you are really interested towards the job satisfaction, and the academia could be one of the avenues, but I won't say that that's the only avenue. But still, I thought I will present my own perspective to this particular question. And now the next question I would like to ask Dr. Naveen Singh, who is sitting here. There are about 4,000 students on campus, yet it's not unusual for one to feel lonely at times. What is the way out, and what support system do we have at BITS?
Do some unusual thing to get rid of the loneliness. Of course, this is a world where you might be feeling loneliness sometime. If you are feeling loneliness among the 4,000 students, or I should say about 5,000 people in the campus, it means there is some problem within yourself. You have to identify that. Where is the problem? Watch movie like Forrest Gump. Watch movie like Men of Honor. Read Mahabharata. That may be a very unusual thing, just like loneliness, but believe me, there is a lot of things which you can learn from Mahabharata. I will just tell you an instance. This is about how to explore yourself. So there was a conversation between, of course this is just a assumed conversation, between Karn and Krishna. So Karn asked Krishna that I was the unluckiest person on this earth. I had no friends, or I had missed a lot of opportunities and so on. So can you guess what Krishna answered him? So Krishna told, it is not that you have missed the opportunity. It is, problem was with you. If you see your contemporary Arjun or myself, we were also facing the same problem. But thing is that at the time, in the crisis, you choose Duryodhan as your friend, while Arjun chose me as a friend. So if you are feeling loneliness, people are not coming to you. It is you who has to approach to others, and you have to find out the person who can help you to make your life better. So while Karn was struggling, Arjun was also at the same time struggling. See, when he was kid, his father died. When they were in the Hastinapur, they were not treated like a prince. So from the childhood till their adulthood, they were facing a lot of challenges. Still, at the end of the time, means whatever we see at the end of the Mahabharata, Arjun has to fight with his most beloved person, who is called Keshu. So it is not that opportunities we have to grasp. So if you are feeling loneliness yourself, think about yourself. In the campus, just right, and if the campus you say, change your daily routine, wake up in the morning around 5:30, take a round in the campus. I always say this to my student, these 4 years will be the most precious year in your life, because after that you are going to place in Gurgaon, Bangalore, Noida or US, whatever, wherever, you will not find this kind of campus. You will not find this kind of healthy environment anywhere in the world. So explore that. If people are not your friend, make environment your friend. Make nature as your friend. Move around in the campus. Just listen what the leaves are saying. Just listen what the trees are saying to you. You will find happiness. Yeah.
To add on to that, it is not very uncommon to feel lonely. Like, you can be in a group of 5 people and still feel lonely, but you can be in your room doing something and be self-sufficient. So I think the definition of lonely, you have to identify yourself that, okay, I'm not feeling well, and it is something to be aware about. And mental health is something you should be actively speaking about, and it's a stigma. And now it's very important, it's upcoming that we talk freely about mental health. If you have a problem, yes, go out, talk to people, talk to your parents. We have a counselor which visits weekly. We have the chief warden. You can go talk to sir, tell him about your problems, because it is not very uncommon. The person sitting next to you might be going through something you don't know, because on the face we show that we are happy, satisfied, everything is okay. But it's only on the inside that we feel very lonely, and there's this void which we can't fill. And it's very hard to explain in words. I mean, you might go to a friend, explain everything to him that I'm feeling lonely, I don't have anything to do. He might understand half the things, but at least let it out. Be bold enough to tell him that, because you'll feel very good when you share it. And have an outlet, but a very trustable source. Because the campus is like such, and you feel that, okay, if I tell this to someone, he will tell this to someone, and everyone will think I have a mental problem. So, okay, if you have this insecurity, then go talk to the chief warden, talk to the counselor. There is nothing like that which spreads. So, I think you should be very comfortable with whatever condition you have, because it's not uncommon, and I think everyone at some point in this campus life, because of this environment, faces this.
So you might be more comfortable talking to your friends or say your immediate seniors. But then you need to understand that everybody is going through the same problems as you are. Everybody is figuring out their lives on their own, what they